Good everyone, welcome to this video. Today it's the spade impressions on the Ostwind, which means east wind in German in case you are curious. The Ostwind has been in game since right from the beginning, I think. And it was one of the first SPAs that I didn't really like in a German tree. I'll be truthfully honest, I did not like this thing. I sort of praised it in the funny moments where I taught that guy a lesson in his broider. But this thing I've gotten better in. So the Ostwind is, well, I would consider it a slight downgrade from the Wirbelwind. Obviously, you trade the 420mm Daka cannons for a single 37mm, which hits a lot harder, but you've only got one of them. That's one thing to take into account. So the gun itself is a flak 43 37mm, 1000 rounds. Just take full ammo, because let's be honest, if you get hit in this thing, you're dead anyway. The ammo is very susceptible to going off in terms of ammo explosion and things like that. So I just recommend carrying full ammo. If you're going to go pop, you might as well go pop with style. Because trust me, the amount of times I've seen Ostwinds and Wirbelwinds where their turrets go flying off is just unbelievable. And it is hilarious to see that. So the Ostwind is based off a Panzer IV-H or a Panzer IV-J chassis. Pretty reasonably armored at the front with 80mm. Pretty poor on the sides and rear of just 30. Turret has been improved from the Wirbelwind, because in the Wirbelwind you could get killed by 50 caliber fire. In the Ostwind, a Russian 14.5s from the BTR 152 can pen your turret. Machine gun fire can hit the gunner in the face, and I'm sure that's a significant emotional event for the gunner. The Ostwind is also very weak to 50 cal from above, obviously because it's open topped in like a hexagonal turret. And with just 10mm turret up, or roof armor, I should say, protecting the driver and machine gunner, yeah, 50 cal is going to go straight through that. Rockets tend to be quite a big threat to the Ostwind, because obviously it can hit the top deck, go inside and set off the ammo, and you'll have a bad day. But the Ostwind's 37 fires actually pretty quickly. It's not like an M3 Stuart where it goes bang, 1, 2, 3.5, bang. It's not like that. It just goes dun 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 dun, and it will keep on going until you're out of ammunition or the gun overheats. Which, back in the day, you could just hose the sky with 37mm fire. But unfortunately, that is not the case since the overheat barrel mechanics. But this is a nice vehicle to play, like I said. But I would still stick with the Wirbelwind. However, if you want a bit more bang for your buck, go with the Ostwind. Mobility-wise, it's exactly the same as the Panzer IV. You're going to shift reasonably well. So let's get to the battle, shall we? And I will go over, obviously, that's the teaching player lesson there. I will obviously go over the vehicle a bit more. So obviously we all know the Wirbelwind, also known as the Cancer Wind, the Easy Wind, and the Wirbel Cancer. Yeah, the Ostwind isn't as feared. I mean, personally, even if it's a machine gun firing at my plane, I tend to shit myself because I don't expect it straight away. And it's like tanks like the Shermans, where they have 50 cals on the top. They're quite lethal to planes. And you'll see in this battle, I do have a couple of pilots try to outsmart me. Now, if I remember rightly, this battle took place when I was watching a live stream of one of my friends. He was playing Beat Saber. If you've never played Beat Saber, people, it's actually quite fun. You basically are armed with 2 lightsabers, and you have to hit certain boxes in certain ways to music, and it is a lot of fun. So I'm going to skip ahead a bit. And, well, I believe this is the battle where we had a crybaby. Oh, no, it isn't. That's a different battle. Because I was on Italy with a guy who was moaning about people being hackers and all that because people shot him down. He even called me a hacker at one point for shooting him down in my Ostwind. My only vehicle in the lineup was the Ostwind, and I only got one up tier. I was lucky to have not flipped it there, yes I was. But I only got one up tier whilst I was spading this thing. Had a lot of fun. And here comes Chip Foose, very interesting name. But I like to use the Ostwind as an air harasser, so if you see a plane coming in, and even if you know you're not going to hit the plane, fire it anyway from behind a sufficient amount of cover. This means that the plane will obviously see your tracer fire and will divert his attention away from the area most of the time. That's how I drive the Ostwind. If I can hit the plane, great. If I can't hit the plane, no matter, I'll shoot the bastard next time. And there's actually a second P-47 coming in a moment. Kill command, and these players did try, well these two P-47s did try to take me out. And as you can tell, my team's already dying pretty significantly. That's becoming a running gag with allied teams. What I didn't know at the time is there was actually an Avenger over there. Never knew he was there, to be truthfully honest. One thing I do recommend saying is don't stick in gun view in this thing. Good hits on Chip Goose. Didn't kill him, but I'm pretty sure his pilot will need a change of pants if he ever makes it back. He won't make it back. But he's now going to try and bait me in a way for his friend named Kill Command. And I was struggling here because I didn't know which one to shoot at. I didn't know at the time that Chip Goose actually had no ground strike ordnance left. I did fire a nice long burst at him. Here comes Kill Command trying to be smart. He fires a rocket, hits the track, does jack shit. Except blow the track off, which obviously orders a freaking rocket. I hit Kill Command in the engine compartment and it damages the oil system. I believe I shoot down Kill Command here, if I remember rightly. And there he goes. Obviously he drops bombs on me because he's that desperate for an Ostwind kill. Chip Foose, determined to try and straighten me out with tracers, gets his elevator blown up for its troubles, and there he goes. 2 air kills, 1 assist. If I remember rightly, the assist was because I called artillery earlier. On something, I don't remember. All I know is I got hits on a tank destroyer. I believe it was an M18 that I might have gotten the assist on. But now Kill Command, for some reason, decides the smartest move is to come back in an M16 half-track to try and gun my ass down. Remember what I said about 50 cals not being able to pen the Ostwind's turret? Well, you're going to see that. But it's going to go a bit quiet now for a little bit because there are going to be a break in the planes. But don't worry, we'll get to shoot down a couple more. But this is probably one of the better games I had in the Ostwind. Obviously, most of my games in the Ostwind, I will obviously point out, they were not the best games. I got a couple of air kills, maybe in the odd ground kill. I'll show you my stats at the end, and then obviously we'll go over recommended upgrade path for this vehicle, which I really do like doing. It's because obviously I'm not the world's best player, but I do like giving newer players a hand. And there's Flow 137 in a Spitfire Mark 5B Trop. He is going to come in for a crack at this later, but don't worry about him for now. Obviously, I'm too busy looking at him, and I did take some minor cannon breach damage, it would seem. I decided to check on Hans and Franz. They're doing okay. I mean, They're a bit wet because obviously it's raining. I'm surprised this map was not set in Britain. This is the second rain map I had on Italy. And here comes Flo and also Prowler in a Spitfire Mark 9 with a bomb. Keep that in mind. I don't claim to be the best Ostwind gunner, well AA gunner in general. But as I said, the Ostwind is perfect for making planes piss off when you don't need them around you. Drop some more artillery because I can hear 50 cal fire. You're going to hear that later, ladies and gentlemen. And I can just hear my friend Matthew screaming at the screen right now because of what I'm doing. I believe I did score a hit there, but it didn't really do a lot of damage. I think it was AP. And there, if you listen carefully, you heard a second Spitfire. Prowler is currently dealing with the HE-219, and I told Name 2... Well, I say... Excuse me. Someone got stuck in my throat then. I told Name 2410 to come and actually fly over me so I could shoot him easier, but even so. There goes Flo, blew him apart with an FIT round, and that's him dealt with. And now our 219 is going to get shot down, if I remember rightly, by the Spitfire, because he decided, well, I won't fly over the Ostwind, which is trying to help me, I'll just fly away from him. Yeah, that's really a way to get yourself saved from a match, isn't it, pal? And there you can hear the 50 cal, it's getting a bit more closer, isn't it? And there he is, kill command. Didn't know it was him at the time, obviously. And for some strange reason, he loves to hold down the trigger. I'm not sure what was up with this guy, to be truthfully honest, people. Really wasn't. He just kept spraying, hitting my Ostwind's turret, doing jack shit damage. And at that point, I actually said to him, well, I said to myself, just shut the fuck up with those 50s, because as much as I love the M16, there's that bomb I was on about. That was Prowler. Damages the engine block, kills the machine gunner, but other than that, really does no damage. And he comes back in trying to strafe me, but you really think that was going to work against an Ostwind, pal? No, it wasn't. 4 fair kill. And I dropped some artillery, but right as Killer Command shows up again, the artillery dropped in his old position because I thought he was pulling back to not deal with my Ostwind. And yes, this is going to be a defeat because my team sucks. But Killer Command really wanted that revenge kill. And well, he is going to pay the price very soon. His gunner eats a 37mm AP to the face, and there is your final kill for the match, just before it ends. So what do I think of the Ostwind? Well, it was freaking amazing. I used to hate it back in the day, as I mentioned, and in fact I'm going to let the replay finish so we can go back to the hangar. But honestly, people, it was one of the best SPAAs I've driven and spaded in a long time. Really was. So recommended upgrade path. Well, you know the drill by now. Parts. Horizontal drive. I'm going a bit different this time because the Ostwind does have a decent turret traverse, but more is always better. FPE. Adjustment of fire. Filters. Spare retard. And work over the rest. I recommend getting the engine modules done first. Then getting artillery support and just clean up. Get the rounds last. You really won't need them. You may need the Panzergranate in a sticky situation, but with just 46mm of pen, you're going to struggle to kill most things. But yeah, that's the Spade impressions on the Ostwind. Had a lot of fun with it, as I mentioned. But as I previously mentioned beforehand, please just stick with the Wirbelwind. I find the Wirbelwind to be far more better at killing tanks, killing aircraft because of its much greater rate of fire and number of cannons. But don't skip out on the Ostwind. Maybe keep it as a backup, maybe give it a try yourself. But the Ostwind, it's not really appropriate, but I think it's just a more pissed off version of a Wirbelwind. Anyway, I'm going to let you guys off because my throat is dying, as you probably told about 3/4 of the way through that. And I will catch you all on the next one. Hope you enjoyed.